Hi, drawing students. This week you are going to do value mapping, which just means you're going to be making a map of the darks and lights. So now, can anyone identify this young man? Yes, that's Charlie Chaplin. And we can recognize him even though he's only defined by just black and white. All right, so this is on page 208 in your textbook if you want to look at that example. So what you're going to do is you are going to take a picture of yourself, and it doesn't have to be yourself, it could be someone else that you know, but I want you to position yourself near a window so that one side is light and one side is dark. And you can see from this photograph that it's sort of, I think that the camera kind of corrected it, so it's not really accentuated. So I looked at my camera and there was something, a filter in there in my photos called Eiffel, and it was black and white, so it accentuated the darks and lights a little more. So then I printed it out, made sure it was on a black and white setting. I'm laying a piece of tracing paper over it, and I am tracing the darkest shapes. Now you're going to try to see if you can find something very dark, areas that are very light, and something in between. And I started doing this, and I'm going to wait. It's evening now. I'm going to wait till tomorrow, and I'm going to take this paper with my tracing paper over it, and I'm going to tape it to a window. And when the light from the window comes in, I'll be able to see these shapes much better. So I've tacked my photo to a window, and remember it's got tracing paper over the actual photo, and I am going to go in here with the pencil and just trace these shapes that are the shadows. So I want to see if I can get them to be flat shapes. So I think I'm done with my tracing, and so then I can just pick this up. You see there's a lot of shapes there. Yours doesn't have to be as detailed as that. So now we're going to make each shape a different value. So I finished outlining all of my shapes, and now I have them on this piece of tracing paper. Now I want to transfer this drawing to a fresh white piece of paper. So there's a transfer technique that I'm going to show you. I'm ready to transfer my drawing. So to go over it one more time, I trace the flat shapes on my face. So I have them on tracing paper. I turned my tracing paper over. I took a nice soft pencil, in this case it was a 4B, and I traced over all these lines. So if you think about it, I'm going over the drawing. This is now my second time. So I did that. So now I am going to press this image through. So I get a fresh white piece of paper, because this is going to be my finished product now. And I am going to tape it down, because you really don't want it to move at this point. And I tape down, all four corners. Once again, yours doesn't have to be as detailed as this, but it's just so much fun. That's why I like the detail. It's fun. It could drive you crazy. Now I'm going to take a harder pencil again, which is back to my 2B, and I am going to start tracing over all these lines yet again, because in the process of doing that, I am pressing my drawing, or also transferring my drawing, onto this white piece of paper. So just for a moment, I'll show you what was I able to draw. I can see it pretty well. I don't know if it's coming through on the video. But once I'm all done, I will have replicated what I drew and transferred it onto this white paper behind it. So in theory, you could say, okay, so that means you're tracing it 3 times. Yep. First time you trace the shapes, flip it over, put some graphite on the back, so you're tracing it over, flip it back right side up, and then you press it through. So I have transferred my drawing. So there it is. And I'll be able to color in the shapes. Now, the next question is, what to color them in with? In your equipment list, you have these bunch of gray markers from lightest. You've got, I think you may have 4, but you have at least light gray, middle gray, dark gray. And then your Sharpie is even black or more gray. So you can use those 4 values and realizing that you're going to leave some areas white, the whitest whites. If you want to make it even more simple and just use 3 values, you can do that too. So you would, I think, take out maybe this one and just use those 3. It's up to you. It depends upon how complex your image is, so you get to decide. So what do you do? Well, I'm going to start mine soon. I can hardly wait. You're going to refer back to your picture a lot, and you want to just figure out what you're going to leave lightest, and then what you're going to make darkest, and then what's in between. One of the things that's hard about this is beginning drawing students, they know the color of the skin. If it's a light-skinned person, that how could you possibly have something that approaches black or a dark gray on the skin? But you can, because if you look at this is very dark right here. And it's, as dark as some of the darkest shadows under the hair. Look at that. That is almost black. The eyes, even though the person might have light blue eyes, the lighting can make the eyes look darker. So you're going to go exactly from what you see in your photograph. So I've been filling in my value mapping shapes, and I'm looking very closely at the photograph when I do that. So I no longer need to look at my tracing, and it's okay to go outside of the lines if it feels like the picture is, is guiding you to do that. So I'm only using 3 values. I've got black, middle gray, or dark gray, and light gray. And here they are. And I also have a fine line if I have to get in there and work with a really dark or a very fine line. So now your markers look like this. It's really, you have the same capability with what you have. And what's nice about these is one side is a fine line and one side is a wide. So you can do that. So, just prepare yourself, because it's going to feel like you're wrecking it when you start to fill in the shapes. So just as a comfort, I started with the lighter gray, and I got this shape and the side of the nose. And then it's very important to let yourself use this dark gray. Remember, we have black, dark gray, light gray, and we have white to work with. So this particularly feels like you're wrecking it because it just feels too dark to be on skin. But just realize that is, it's an instinct. It's left brain thinking, because we know the skin is not, depending upon the person's skin tone, is not dark. At least this person isn't. But no matter what nationality you are or race, you are going to have a complete range, more or less, of light to dark, just because the light can hit something and make it completely white. Or if it has a glare on it, because our skin can be shiny too. So you want to look for those whites. The highlight in the eye is important. So you just you know, you might wind up starting with this lighter gray, and then, you know, see as it develops that yes, you can put this dark in here, and then this is the black. So really, it's only these three things. I'm using this as a fine line only because the set that I have only has kind of chunky tips, so sometimes you need to kind of get in there with some details. So I'm going to keep working on this and see how it goes.